This is the Kicking It podcast where we talk all things women's rugby league
and stories to inspire and entertain. Come kick it with us.
Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It. My name is Kiana Takairangi and I'm joined by my best friend, co-host and 7-time New South Wales State of Origin representative, Corban Baxter. Corby, how are you and excited for today's episode?
I'm well, thanks. Yeah, super excited. It's Origin Week. I'm really pumped for the girls to be able to run out and represent their states. It's always such a big game on the calendar, so I know that both sides are going to be up for it. But I thought before we start talking about the game this week that we sort of talk about the history of State of Origin because a lot of people probably don't know about that. So it actually began back in 1999. So that's when it was called the Women's Interstate Challenge, and then it was rebranded as the State of Origin in the 2018 season. So up until this year, it's always just been one game, and you get one opportunity to win the title of State of Origin champions. So in the early days, Queensland were really dominant. They won 15 in a row, and I remember when I first started playing, I came in and New South Wales had never won. So a lot of things around when I was in camp and the chats that we'd had was how hard it was to beat them and always how hard those games were. So it's been a pretty long history for the State of Origin, and Queensland have been dominant, and New South Wales currently are the champions. They won last year, and this year 2023. It's a little bit different now. We're expanding to 2 games, which changes the whole dynamic of things.
Yeah, and that's really interesting, isn't it? Because typically previously one, boys obviously do 3. 2's kind of random.
Yeah, it is. And I know a lot of people agree with that. It's sort of just have 1 or 3, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes for the first time. So my understanding is that if New South Wales won the first game, Queensland win the second, it's based on points. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. So you don't get that third decider. It goes on points, total points of both matches, I believe. So I think there's a whole criteria if they're on equal points, what it comes down to. But you would think, if it does come down to a 1-1 draw over both matches, that someone's got more points, and that's how you claim the title.
And they've just recently changed that, because our understanding before that was that it was just going to be if New South Wales won the first game, they'd automatically win because of last year's game.
Yeah, correct. And that's what has been said for as long as I can remember this year. And I know there's been a little bit of talk even just today about the New South Wales girls having that understanding as well, and they're a bit frustrated by this change of ruling because they've gone into it thinking that, if they win the first game, they win the series. So that's not to be, and now they have to,
I think it's probably better though. It makes it a little bit more exciting, because if New South Wales did win the first game, second game wouldn't have been that exciting. So not a bad thing. I know New South Wales are unhappy about it, but I think it'll make for better viewing.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense, and hopefully now that second game is, not hopefully, definitely that second game is going to come into play.
Yeah, cool. Now, let's just talk quickly about selection and how you can get selected in the State of Origin teams.
Yes, so that's a question that we get a lot, and they're like, how are they picking the team without an NRLW being played yet? But these teams actually get picked through the New South Wales and Queensland competitions, so the Harvey Norman and the BHP. Usually you have to play 5 games, I think it is, but to be eligible. But I think this year, just with coming off a World Cup last year, I think they've been a bit lenient. I don't know how many games they have had to play to be eligible to represent, but I know a lot of the girls only played a few. A lot of the marquee players had only played a few games in those state competitions.
Yes, correct. And that actually reminds me of a little bit of a story on Millie Boyle. So she was one of the players who didn't play until later on in the year. Yep. Didn't play much of Harvey's. So obviously with her leaving Newcastle Knights and joining the Roosters, it was a big hot topic, right? I think you and I were actually one of the first to find out that she was actually leaving, and it might have been us who were responsible for it actually coming out in the media.
Oopsie.
So what happened was you and I were both at the gym.
Yep.
Live Athletic, where we train with Justin Lang. Millie was in there with Adam. I think Adam was doing some rehab on his groin at the time. So this was a few months ago now.
Yeah.
This was before NRLW contracts had even come out. So I remember us talking with Millie and we're kind of just general conversation. Somehow Harvey Norman came up and I remember saying like, oh, like we weren't doing too good at Sharks, saying it wasn't that good of a season at the time. But I was like, are you playing? Or you're not playing, right, Millie? And Millie was like, oh, I'm actually about to go to training this week. And we're like, oh, cool. And I remember you saying, you're playing for Newcastle, right? And she was like, no, I'm actually going to play for Central Coast.
Yeah.
She's like, I like to make things hard for myself. And me and you were just like, oh, cool. Like, that's so cool. Like, good on you, blah, blah, blah. Continue the conversation. Later
Oblivious.
that night, yeah, literally oblivious to it. Later that night, I went to training and I remember talking to our recruitment guy, Casey, and we're on the topic of NRL contracts and how a lot of the higher paid like players weren't playing Harvey Norman because of the risk of getting injured and whatnot. And then I was like, oh, well, actually, no, he mentioned Millie Boyle and Tamika Upton specifically not playing because of the high risk of getting injured and then risking an NRLW contract, whatnot. And I remember saying, oh, actually, I saw Millie in the gym today and she said that she's going to play for Central Coast. And he was like, well, that says an effing lot about where she's going to be playing this season. I remember just looking at him and going, oh my gosh, like.
That's when you realised.
Yeah, literally. So I said to him, hold on, but did you know that before this conversation? And he was like, oh yeah, like I'd heard it before, but I was like.
You confirmed it for him.
I've just confirmed it. And then I remember messaging
Next
you
day.
that night. I messaged you that night going, hey, did you take Millie saying she's playing for Central Coast as she's going to the Roosters? And you were like, oh, like, no, but I hope so. And then,
that just shows like things can go right over our heads.
Right over our heads. And then the next day, I remember it was like lunchtime and I got a message from Nita Maynard, a screenshot of an article, Millie Boyle leaving the Newcastle Knights, going to the Roosters. And I remember being like rattled, thinking, oh my gosh, this is my fault. Like I told Casey last night, Casey's probably gone to the media about it. I was full like shook about it.
That's the best. Millie's probably listening now like, these girls.
This is how it got out. I'm so sorry, Millie.
Sorry, Millie, but you're where you're supposed to be now.
Whatever. Anyway.
Too funny, but yeah, I do recall that. And she was probably waiting for like a response from us as well. Like when she said, oh, I'm playing with Central Coast, she was probably waiting for us to be like, wait, why? Who are you playing with the NRLW? But we were just both like, yeah, cool.
We gave her
like,
nothing. It was just
different.
like, good on you. That's so fun.
Hilarious.
Anyway, so back on the topic of State of Origin.
Yes.
Tell us, what is the week like for the girls right now leading into camp?
Yeah, camp's always full on, Blues Camp. Lots of fun, but they fill it with lots of different activities. You know, you've got your actual trainings on field, gym, wellbeing sessions. We have a really good psychology guy. Actually hasn't done it for the last maybe 2 years, but he used to do some really quality stuff with us around our psychology, around the game, breathing, and like just mental preparation, which I really loved. I know a lot of the Blues girls really enjoyed as well. Lots of fun around, you know, team bonding, might go to the movies or have dress up nights and things like that. Media obligations, and I think that's like taken up much more time than it had back in when I first started playing. But I know the last few years there's just like your promos for Channel 9 and Fox and stuff. So stuff like that can actually take a long time. I think, you know, with NRLW stuff, they do the same sort of thing. But it's a lot of fun just being around the girls and, yeah, soaking up that whole week because it's a huge game. It's probably one that most girls want to play in. And, yeah, it's just making the most of it. But, yeah, I remember one of the strangest camps that we had was during COVID 2020, and it was up on the Sunshine Coast, and we had to be in a bubble for 2 weeks up there, and Queensland was staying in the same hotel as us, and like everyone knows, like it's the biggest rivalry, so you don't want to be anywhere near, you don't even want to like cross paths at training, like on the buses, like crossing over, let alone staying in the same hotel for 2 weeks up into the game. So we're just walking through, you know, on the way to our team room and crossing like Ali Brigginshaw and stuff. And like, you love them, but that week you don't. So that was like, yeah, the weirdest camp for me and a lot of the girls. But no, it's always a good time.
It's always a bit awkward in that situation when you're kind of crossing paths with other teams because a lot of us are very good friends in general, but then as soon as you're kind of coming up against them, I know in like NRLW games, it's a bit like awkward. You're like, oh, do I say hi? Do I not? Like, will I get in trouble for saying hi?
Yeah.
I can imagine it being like next level for Origin though.
It really was weird. And yeah, because it wasn't just, you know, a day, it was a whole 2 weeks. So yeah, that was, a different experience.
That would have been tough.
Yeah.
Now last year you were a part of the State of Origin, like you were in camp with the girls, you weren't playing, you were pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, really good. I was lucky enough to be selected in the squad originally, and then I found out I was pregnant, so I had to withdraw, and was able to jump on the coaching staff, which was a really different experience and something that I had a lot of fun with. I would have definitely rather been out on the field playing with the girls, but enjoyed that. I got to do some stuff with Kylie Hilda and Ruan Sims, and Kate Mullally was also on the coaching staff too. So we had our own little girl gang, and it was lots of fun.
How do you find that? How do you think the girls are going in their coaching roles? I think it's personally great to see more females in those like head role or head coaching positions. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I love it. And Kylie's been there for, I think this is her third or fourth season now, coaching the Sky Blues. I know Tanya Norris has been heading up the Queensland Maroons for a couple of years too. And I think it's great to see if they're doing the job well, why not? It's great for the women's game.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now tell us, is a return on the cards for you for State of Origin next year?
Well, I feel like I'm not done with the Blues jersey yet. I would love to play in another one. My focus is definitely on getting back into the NRLW and, coming back injury-free, fit, and just having a really good NRLW season, then sort of whatever comes off the back of that. But I really love representing New South Wales. So if that opportunity ever arises, I'll take it wholeheartedly.
Definitely. Well, I know that I definitely hope to see you back there.
Thanks.
Just from training with you over the last couple of months, really leading up to this NRLW pre-season, I think you've done amazing.
Thanks.
4 months after having Bodie, it's literally incredible. I struggled to get myself to training, and you're there bringing Bodie to come and watch us. Well, he doesn't really have a choice sometimes.
He gets dragged to the field. He already lives at the fields.
Yeah.
Whether it's sitting on the sideline watching me train, or his brother or cousins or whoever. It makes it so much more worth it. I think we talk about our why in camps a lot. I know every team does that. And for me, it's obviously my family and my boys. But I'm lucky that I've got you that's always there pushing me and my other family around to help support so that I can get my training in the lead up. So I know it's sort of been a quick turnaround, but I've had some itchy feet for a while and I'm keen to get back out there.
I can't wait to see you back out there. Now let's have a little look at the teams.
Yes.
For these first games. So I'll go through the New South Wales team. Mm-hmm. Bloody beautiful team here, I must say. So I'll read just from 1 through to 18. We've got Emma Tonegado, Jamie Chapman, Jessica Surgis, Isabel Kelly, Tiana Penatani, Jessie Southwell and Rachel Pearson in the halves. We've got Kezzy Apps, Keely Davis, Millie Boyle, Olivia Kernick, Yasmin Clydesdale, Kennedy Charrington, Talia Fumimayono, Sarah Osala Togatuki, Brooke Anderson and Shaylee Bent. And then in the 18, we have Ellie Johnston, our Sharky there. I reckon that is a gun side.
That's a sexy looking team.
My thoughts on this, well, let's just speak quickly about the debutantes. Mm-hmm. Jessie Southwell.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see her play. She had a great NRLW season.
Yeah.
I think she'll be excellent for New South Wales. She'll definitely be one to watch. I think Chapo, it's really exciting to see Chapo get a start there on the wing. She's an excellent player. We've all seen what she can do. She gets her hands on the ball in any sort of space. Look out because she'll go the length.
Yeah, for sure.
Talia in the 14, that's really exciting for her. I think that would have been a close call between her and Quincy Dodd could have also taken that 14 jersey, but really exciting to see Talia there debuting. And then Brookie Anderson.
Yes.
Love that for Brookie.
I love seeing her name there.
So good. She's been so good for our Sharks team. I think she's carried us in the middle for a lot of the season and last year as well.
Yeah, she's been huge. I love watching Brooke play. She is just a physical player, and I feel like I sort of see a resemblance between her and Hannah Southwell. You know, Hannah's such a beast of a defender, and so is Brooke. She can change the momentum of a game through her defence. She puts a hit on and everyone just lifts. And I think she's well and truly earned her spot there. So go Brookie.
She's got that textbook low tackle style, doesn't
just wax
she?
them. Yeah.
I know I've caught that from Hannah a couple of times. Not that good, but I love it when Brookie does it when I'm playing on the same team.
For real.
So she'll be one to watch. Who do you think could be a standout player for New South Wales? Who could help them win the game?
I mean, across the board, they're very, very strong. I think Isabel Kelly's always someone who rises for these big games, especially being co-captain as well this year. I think that'll just give her that little bit more, I don't know, inspiration and whatever. Like, not that she needs any more inspiration. She's already killing every single Origin match, but I think she'll do her job and do it amazingly. And then I'm really excited to see Jessie Southwell there.
Me too.
She, first year, she played league when she was younger. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's played before. Obviously went to rugby sevens and has come back. Wins a NRLW premiership in her first year in a key position in the halves. So I think she's just a young girl. She plays with so much confidence. We forget how young she is. Isn't she 18?
So she's 18 now, I'm pretty sure. She was 17 when she was playing for us last year in the NRLW, which is crazy. And as you mentioned, to be able to play with so much confidence at such a young age, I think it's pretty scary to see what she'll be like in a couple of years, like after playing NRLW for a couple of years.
For sure. She's going to be a huge asset to the Blues team. So, I think that is a good looking side. And they're going to go up against Queensland, who also look red hot. So they've got Tamika Upton at the back, obviously, Julie Robinson, Shanae Shazolka, Ivania Polite, Emily Bass, Taryn Aiken, Zahara Tamara, Shannon Martor, Destiny Brill, Keely Joseph, Tasman Gray, Shania Power, Ali Brigginshaw, Emma Manselman, Jessica Elliston, Sophie Hollyman, Romy Teetzel, and in the 18th man, China Palata. So they look really good. They're debutantes in the 10, Keely Joseph, who I thought, like I had in my head that she'd already played in an Origin, but that's because she's played in the under-19s previously. But she's just been around the NRLW for a while, and I've obviously been lucky enough to play with her. So I think she's going to be huge for them and already represented Australia before she's represented her state in the NRLW. In the open women's age. Emma Manselman, you got to play with her a bit at Newcastle last season.
Yes, so Em was outstanding for us, I thought, at Newcastle. She just came on and brought a lot of energy and just really carved up those tired middles whenever she came on the field. So I'm so excited to see her there in the 14. I think she'll be great. So look out, New South Wales, if you're tired.
For sure. She'll come on and just,
she will
make
run
a mockery of the tired middles. And then Sophie Hollyman, who had a really good season with Bronx last year as well. So some really good debutants there. I think their spine is going to be really strong. Obviously, Tamika up the back, she's a lot to deal with. She's got to get her hands on the ball early and just be as involved as possible. Like when she's got footy in hand, she's really hard to defend. She's just elusive, quick. Like
they don't call her Freaky Meeky for nothing.
Freaky Meeky.
You haven't heard that one?
No.
I didn't make it up, trust me. I have heard it though, but I agree. Like if she gets her hands on the ball with any sort of space, she will make you look silly as well.
She's done that to me before.
What
Probably
happened?
more than once, but one that is in the forefront of my mind. It was that 2020 season, I think, up on the Sunshine Coast, and I was playing in the 6 and I put like what was supposed to be a really long driving kick to the corner, and no excuses. It was a very windy night, but it was just a shit kick and it went straight to her on the full. I was like, knew it as soon as I kicked it that it wasn't going where I wanted it to. She catches it. I try to like be a hero and chase out of the line and shut her down. She just like steps me and runs a full field try to open up the game, and it really broke my confidence early. But I mean,
that's some
freaky
sort of
meeky
nightmare stuff there.
Seriously, gave me nightmares, but we live and we move on. That's okay.
I agree though. I think she'll be one to watch, and I think if she does get her hands on the ball early, she could get Queensland in front.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then Taryn Aiken, like she's one of the best halves in the game as well. And special shout out to Zahara back in there. I know she missed out last year. She was 18th man, but love seeing that 7 next to her name, which has pushed Ali into lock, which is, I think, something that will work for them really well.
That's a good move there. So they've got a ball playing lock in Ali Brigginshaw in the middle.
Yeah.
That's going to be dangerous.
Yeah. We saw her... We saw Ali in the lock position, I think, back in that 2020 season as well, with Zahara and Taryn in the hub. So they've gone back to what worked for them and what got them success. So really excited to see that spine link up. Be good.
So I know it's probably a silly question, but who's your money on for game 1?
Definitely the Blues. Got to back them. I feel like I'll never go for Queensland. It's going to be a great game, and I hope it is really close, but I'm back in the Blues all the way. How about you?
I'm the same. I'm going to go New South Wales for the first game, Queensland for the second.
Oh, okay.
We'll
That'll be
happens.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then Blues by points.
Possibly. So if you are interested in watching the game, I believe it is a 7:45 kickoff tomorrow night at Combank Stadium.
Yes, Combank Stadium. And you can watch it on Channel 9, Foxtel or KO as well. So no excuse not to witness greatness.
Tune in.
Go the Blues.
Actually, one more thing you have to tune in to us for next week is our review.
Yes.
So we'll be back next week or later on in the week maybe, if we're onto it.
We'll see how onto it we are.
Yeah, for a review, and we'll also give you guys a little bit of an insight into how our pre-season's going.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Chat to you there.
Bye.